What's cracking me, our gaming darlings? I hope you're all keeping well. Thank you so much for joining in on this on this awesome gaming channel, or the podcast talk. We of course will turn that down, and of course, now whilst it being the subject of channel content update, I can confirm that there is going to be some awesome upcoming games coming to be playing through on this channel for live streaming about towards mid-end of July. Depends on the current schedule of the gaming in itself. I would advise that these are going to be more of the indie games rather than the major platforms, because I do want to try and diversify the content. Now the first week I can confirm these are going to be indie horror games. Now, whilst the games themselves are maybe short in the long run, maybe they last about a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours, but they hold a lot of fun. And looking at the reviews on them, it's going to be absolutely exciting stuff. So, of course, I can confirm on the very first week of when we do start this, so keep an eye out for my videos, so make sure you do follow so that you can be notified on the updated comment. Mosaic Croc the Fisher, hello to you. Thank you very much for your comment. So, of course, the first week, there's already about 4 games we've got already lined up, which I do say end of July, but potentially mid-July, but don't hold me back on it. Do not hold me back on it. It all depends on the current schedule, as I say. So one of the first ones we're going to be doing is, of course, is Pacify Headquarters. Now, Pacify in itself was at 4 different mini games of horrors, where, of course, you was in the horror situation of these different horror team games, which, of course, you can play these singularly, but they do say if you do play alone, it becomes more difficult. So, of course, the easier it is of a game will be because of, well, as you know, team play. Depending on who you join in through, whether it is through via on the social media platform, or if, of course, you do it through another gaming server. The next thing that we do have is, of course, Cabin Fever, the Cabin Factory. I was about to say Cabin Fever, but that's a little bit wrong. The Cabin Factory is, of course, an indie horror game where, of course, you have to play anomaly detections, where you have to inspect each wooden cabin and see if there's any anomaly movements. And if you do, you need to get out of that cabin as soon as possible and be able to, of course, select whether there was an anomaly or if there was. So, of course, that is something that I quite look forward to. I know when I first time tried it, I was a little, not too sure on that, because I think it's just the darkness and claustrophobia that really got to me. It's like as if IKEA had a horror theme going on, then of course you know why. You know why about it. And then of course the third game in hand that we've got going is of course The Floor Above. Now, the difference with that one is that, okay, it's another indie horror game, but it is a anomaly game where you're inside of a haunted house and you're strapped into a chair and you have to basically move around. And of course, you've got to find something that is a little bit obscure. And if you can find that one obscure thing, and we're not talking about the missing object or anything. We're talking about, of course, anything that's real abnormal. Of course, it does get difficulty in the game because, of course, they do say that, this one is completely out of the whole detection. So, of course, you can't base it on that. So you have to really use your detective and find something else. I'm sorry if I sound a little bit nasally. Got a bit of a hay fever, so of course I still want to go ahead with the podcast, and so apologies in advance. And then of course the fourth game that we've got in mind. This one is another horror game, but this one is actually based on spiders. It's a game called The Huntsman, and of course It's a horror game. I don't think that there is a completion of it. I think it's more of a case of being able to survive through the different areas of these different spiders. Now, the Huntsman in itself is that, of course, you need to get from point A to point B by confronting of these different type of spiders. And I kid you not, it's not some bodged up, slow moving spider or anything. The clever thing about it is that there is, of course, AI built into the game, I do believe, because put it like this, if it walks like a spider and if it senses like a spider and if it runs like a spider, then of course it is a spider. It's called the Huntsman, and I think last time I checked they've put in 3 different type of spiders. You've got the Huntsman itself, then there's the Goblin Spider, and that spider in particular is one of those ones where, unlike traditional spiders where they build a web, this particular spider holds the web in its front legs, and of course it uses it like a kind of think of it like a claw machine in the arcade game, where of course it will try to nab you from way above. It's not going to do like follow you around movement. It's going to be sitting in that one spot in certain areas, and it can be a little bit bearish if you don't look properly. I was trying to upload them. Sorry, beg my pardon. And then of course apparently there's one particular spider I'm a little bit fear of that they've got in the game, and it's called, what was it called? I believe it's called the Goliath tarantula, or is it the Goliath spider? And these particular spiders in the course, if you're in the game itself, you have to be careful of where you're walking, because it's one of those spiders that it burrows itself in like one of them little mole type tunnels in the ground. And if you don't look carefully, it will nab you from the floor. And I'm so glad it's not in VR, because of the fact that it would spook the shit out of you. If you saw something come out through the floor and try grabbing you, nobody wants to go through anything like that. Most definitely not. Most definitely not. And then of course, it's not going to be just on horror games in itself. There is going to be all sorts of different fun indie games as well. It could be like racing, it could be platforming. And I think I want to go along with the channel of based on more of the indie games rather than just being on the major platformers, because I think I just want to be something different than most streamers where they do like the major AAA games or anything, and I think I'd like to diversify the content. That's where I sort of want to go and want to be with the channel, and I hope that it does grow and become more successful in the channel. And where I'm sort of sharing the live stream through other platforms, where if others have missed the pre-recording, then of course they can go through onto other platforms you see here. You know, YouTube ain't doing so bad, but unfortunately there hasn't been anything much major updates through on progress on Facebook. But I'm still trying. And of course being hopeful. That's what's happening at the moment. So I'm trying to be more hopeful about things that do pick up. And by all means, guys, is that if you have any suggestions of what indie games I should be playing, I've already had a couple. It's finding the PC, because at the moment I'm doing more of my PC games at the moment on the Steam Deck. But unfortunately, the Steam Deck, being the type of operating system, it does not play Windows games. It does not. And the only way you can find that out, if it's compatible with playing at that game, you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the description of the game. And of course, there's like a tick indicator. And if you see it saying with a green tick, then that means that the Steam Deck can play this game. If it's a yellow with a question mark, then of course it's saying it is playable, but there's some things you may have to tweak about to be able to make it as decent So, which is all right, but then again, it's a bit of a pain in the backside because you want to be able to enjoy it without having to do with the less hassle. And then the other status of it being is unknown because nobody's really tested to see if it is compatible for the Steam Deck or if it's going to be a flat out, no, it's not compatible. So trying to require a mobile gaming PC by hopefully mid-July is what I'm hoping for. Mid-July is where I'm hoping for. And if I can do that, then fantastic. Then, of course, I'm really excited to doing all sorts of different contents. That for sure. That I am for sure. So, yeah, as I say, if there's any gaming suggestions that you want me to give a play in the indie games, rather than it just being the major games, then, of course, by all means, do leave a DM. And, of course, I would look into them and see what I can do. I've already had a couple where, as I say, Lumo was one, which is quite an interesting little sort of isometric puzzle game. Does look good fun, don't get me wrong. But it's finding the time and compatibility of it. But I'm actually quite excited. There's already been a couple of suggestions I've had. And I'm looking forward to schedule it all in and bring out the content for you guys. With that being said, I am going to cut this short because I'm not feeling that 100% great. I still wanted to get something out of the way for you all. But hopefully, with that being said, me gaming darlings, tune in again tonight. If you're a fan of Kingdom Hearts 2, then by all means, we're streaming that tonight at 7 o'clock. Hopefully, I'll feel a little bit better. And of course, I will, of course, see you then at 7 o'clock tonight. So take care of yourselves, me gaming darlings, and all the best. Ta-da!
Imagine a world where people and machines work in perfect harmony. A world of electronic printers and typewriters, microcomputers and advanced network systems. A world where machines not only print beautifully, but will copy, store, or send your ideas anywhere in the world at the touch of a button.
Oh.